One to me is pleasure and pain. One to me is loss and gain. One to me is praise and blame. One to me is fame and shame. This is the mantra that I started working with today. And I am absolutely far, far, far away from embodying it. That's why I started working with it. And it'll take some time before I can even begin to embody even a bit of it, because it is, and I'll go over, there's 4 parts to it. I'll go over them and sort of explain to you intellectually why I'm working with the mantra and why it's very helpful in the path to liberation. So when Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, when the, what do they call them, the rishis that wrote the Upanishads and the Vedas, and when Jesus meditated and went to the desert and fasted, all these people, when Lao Tzu wrote out West never to be seen again and wrote the Tao Te Ching, they all described, Rumi, the poet, they all described the field what Rumi calls beyond good and evil. There's a field, I'll meet you there. And essentially they're all referring to non-dual awareness. So the mantra that I just shared with you is essentially going beyond the duality, the polarity, into a place, into that field that Rumi speaks of, where everything just is, and it's all perfect, and it's all here, and it's all now, and it's all perfect. It's all just perfect. It's all the way it's exactly supposed to be. Total acceptance of what is. And when you take this mantra, one to me is pleasure and pain. So, in Buddha's Four Noble Truths, he says that, life is unsatisfactory. That's first noble truth. Second one is attachment is the root of that unsatisfactoriness. And then he says, third noble truth, you could get rid of it. Fourth noble truth lays out the way, his way of doing it. So the attachment is the craving and the aversion of the aversion of an unpleasant experience, let's call it a painful experience, and the craving of a pleasant experience, let's call it a pleasurable experience. So if you take the first part of the mantra, one to me is pleasure and pain. Essentially what you are saying, or what you are implying, or what you're attempting to embody, which is non-dual awareness, is you are basically telling yourself in not so many words, if pain comes to me, I will experience pain. If pleasure comes to me, I will experience pleasure. Don't mistake this for a rejection of pain and rejection of pleasure or rejection of life. In fact, it's a total acceptance and embracing of life. Because, again, the Four Noble Truths, I talked about this in a recent video. The Four Noble Truths, Sanatana Dharma, the Tao Te Ching, all these scriptures that contain the truth in some way, shape, or form. They, what I was trying to say is they all came to the realization that the creation is impermanent. That's really I talked about this in a previous video. I said that, impermanence and attachment, non-attachment to the impermanent world is the foundation of all these scriptures. I talked about this in a very recent video. So I'm not going to go too much into it. The fact is, this is impermanent. That's the way it is. So the statement then, the only constant in life is change, which is a paradoxical statement, really should be something you ponder, because it is, you could get 100 people from all over the world. You can get a Russian, you can get an American, you can get an old person, a young person, a woman, a man, homosexual, heterosexual. You can get 100 different people that have different backgrounds in life, and they will all agree on this, that life is constantly changing. Even if they don't agree, you explain it to them, and eventually they're like, oh yeah, you're right, because it is the way it is. That's the way it is. That's what Buddha saw under the Bodhi tree. It's all impermanent. Everything's impermanent. So therefore, if everything is impermanent, then and life is an experience, then whenever you have a painful experience, you'll feel the pain, but the pain will subside. It's like I had a wrist surgery here. You can see the line. Two surgeries actually. See that right there? See the line there? It's sort of left a permanent scar. Good permanent scar. Reminds me of. It teaches me a lot actually. It taught me a lot. And the way I broke it was a mountain biking accident. I fell off the bike. I broke it, and it was painful, very painful. But after a while, the pain started going away, or not going away. It started getting numb. So the experience of pain began to dissipate. So silly me, I started boxing, and then that's when I actually damaged the wrist that I needed surgeries. If I didn't do the boxing, I would have healed. The wrist would have healed on its own. Okay, but then I started doing boxing, and then that's when I really, really hurt the wrist, and I had to get surgeries. And what I'm trying to allude to here is that the reason I did boxing despite my wrist still being dysfunctional is because the pain was starting to dissipate. The experience of pain was beginning to dissipate. I thought, it'll be fine. I'll start boxing. And then, yeah. And guess what? Up until the surgery time, for about a year, I was doing boxing with a broken wrist. I was doing calisthenics. I did the back lever with a broken wrist. In fact, I did the back lever. I accomplished that move a day before my surgery. Because I knew I was going to get the surgery, I said, I'm going to do something extraordinary before I do the surgery. And I did the back lever, which is a difficult move to do. So, because the pain just dissipates. The experience of pain, it's there. It just starts to dissipate. In the world of impermanence, everything is impermanent. Same thing with pleasure. Exact same thing. That's why people start to have tolerance for drugs. And then they want more because the pleasure, again, it's a passing show. It's a passing experience. Hence the statement, one to me is pleasure and pain. If you're looking to be centered in the Tao, then you really would like to be in a place, or let's say the optimal way to be is to be in a place that is outside of the duality, yet still experiencing the duality. It's not running away from it. It's not running away from pain or pleasure. It isn't denying your desires, but it isn't going after them per se. It's simply acknowledging that they're there, and if they happen to be fulfilled, then fine. If you have the desire for food, you have money right now, there is a nice restaurant, yeah, I guess you suppose it's there, right? You go and experience the pleasure of it, but you don't cling on to it. If let's say you don't have money, you're broke, you can't go and get a meal, you can't get a meal, and you experience the pain of hunger. That'll pass too if you've done some fasting, So that's the point. The point is it all is a passing show. And so it isn't again, it isn't about rejecting any of life. Once you reject life, you polarize yourself to you polarize yourself to one part of duality. You create an attachment in a way, right? You say, well, I'm attached to pain now. I'm never going to do anything pleasurable, right? Or I'm going to deny myself from experiencing pleasure. And those crazy some ascetics, those monks that beat themselves, those Christian monks in the medieval times that beat themselves, they're attached to pain. They can't really confidently embody that one to me is pleasure and pain because they're attached to pain. Okay, because they realize at some point that pleasure, chasing pleasure is bringing in constant chasing of pleasure. It's bringing them a temporary high. So they said, I'm just gonna go into pain now. So they went into the other part of the duality. Instead of saying, if pain comes to me, pain comes to me. If pleasure comes to me, pleasure comes to me. I will experience both. I will be in them both, and I will gracefully let go once it's gone. Once the sensation of pleasure or pain begins to naturally dissipate in the world of impermanence, everything is impermanent. So that's the first part of it. One to me is pleasure and pain, and for me, that's the most difficult one for me. I say the mantra, and that's the part where, because I'm very much attached to pleasure. Okay, I'm very much attached. So that's like very difficult for me, because I see myself. I say the mantra, and that's the part where I choke at the most. Because it's like, no, you love pleasure so much. No, that's that cognitive dissonance. So that part of the mantra is the one I actually have to do most of the work on. I can explain it to you intellectually, but by no means do I embody it. But it's good to understand this, because understanding, ignorance is sort of the the why we find ourselves in predicaments. Once we know, then the process, the seed is planted, and it may take years before the tree grows and blossoms, but nevertheless. So anyway, one to me is pleasure and pain. Now let's keep going down the road. One to me is loss and gain. So one to me is loss and gain. So give me an example here. Uh, I had a fitness channel that went pretty successful, had over 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what's going on with that channel. I have not checked it in months. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But nevertheless, there was a period where I was exhilarated because, I was getting so many subscribers and it was just like blowing up, and it gave me a high. And the high probably lasted for a couple of months, 2, 3 months, but it dissipated too. It started to go away, and I was sort of back to reference point, whatever that reference point was for me at the time. One to me is gain, one to me is loss and gain. Right? I mean, And then I think I stopped making videos and stuff, and I started losing a lot of subscribers. Probably I'm losing, who knows what's happening. But it's the same also. And I had the high, lasted for a few months, but I went back to reference point. So that one is easier for me to understand because I've experienced it firsthand in many parts of my life. You know, the high goes away. There was a period where I was sort of what you would refer to as a pimp. Lots of women in my life, and that gave me a high. But that started to dissipate very quickly, also very quickly. Believe me. Other periods where not a single woman in my life, and I've same thing. Even the pain of that just dissipates pretty quickly too. So I look back at some of my experiences in life, and I could say that part of the mantra, when I say it, I understand it because I could refer back to many periods in life where I had the gains of life, the gains of the world of impermanence, and I got the high. And how quickly did the high go? Quicker than I thought. And how quickly did the pain go away? The pain of it, oh my god, I don't have a woman right now, there's no girls in my life, blah blah. That also goes away pretty quickly. Believe me, it goes away pretty quickly. Just as quickly as the high of being a pimp, right? So, one to me is loss and gain. One to me is loss and gain. There was periods in my life where I borrowed thousands of dollars, and those were pretty blissful times. I'm telling you, those were pretty blissful times because I didn't work. I borrowed the money and I went on doing my mushrooms and everything else. Pretty blissful times. I was losing money, and there was a period where I worked for a year as a chemical engineer, an internship, and I was making so much money, lots of gain in that period in my life, and I was miserable, miserable. I seen it all over my life. I seen the gain, I seen the loss in every aspect, in relationships, in monetary gain, in loss, in subscribers, you fame, which we'll come to right now, actually. So one to me is loss and gain. One to me is fame and shame. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. So I talked about the example with the YouTube. Fame, one day, people are telling you, you've gone crazy and easy with the psychedelics and easy with all that, and shaming you and stuff. I've seen it. I've seen it. And then same thing, like I remember, I know I'm using a lot of personal examples here, but it's to illustrate to you. Because I'm just like, again, I'm just a character, and yeah, so you could use these examples for your own character as well. So one to me is, so yeah, what the example that I was going to use, I remember in the gym, because in the gym I was very, very self-expressive, very loud, very dancey with the music, all over the place, like I really, really just an overwhelming expression, manifestation. And I would have people come up to me and say, thank you so much, you just being you inspires me. And I had other people come up to me and say, oh my god, your YouTube channel is amazing, it's beautiful. And then I've had people who, behind my back, I've got it from friends that knew these people, that said they want to choke me out, they hate me, they think I'm a douchebag. And over the years I've learned to just take both in the same manner. Like, not take the praise too far, not take the fame of it too far, and not take the shaming of it too far. Same thing, uh, my your society shames you for being, whatever, a crazy, stupid hippie. Um, they shame, society shames you, and then there's other people like you guys fame me, right? They fame me. Oh my god, your videos are amazing. You should have millions of subscribers. I just don't take neither too far at this point. So that's that part of the mantra for me. Quite easy actually. When I say it, it's so easy. It flows through the energy system so easy because life has also taught me to just be step outside that duality of fame and shame, and then you don't really care what others think, because to you, whether they fame you or shame you, it's the same to you. Very difficult one. This is a difficult one. I know for a lot of you guys, that's the one you're gonna choke at. You're right? That's the one you're gonna experience the choking sensations because you're like, no, no, I can't, and that's too much for me. For me, that's again the pleasure and pain. I just choke at that. I'm like, really, like, Saeed, you're a pleasure monkey. Like, you just want pleasure. You're chasing pleasure. You're chasing, beautiful things, and I mean, like, that's gonna be the one I'm gonna utter the most probably and say the most to try and get through. But I know for a lot of you guys, it's going to be the fame and the shame one, right? How do I stop caring what others think? How do I go beyond the fame? Like, I'm making these videos right now. When I was making the fitness videos, I wanted the fame. I was after the fame. Now I don't give a shit. I'm making these videos because they're what's supposed to be done. This channel gets big, this channel doesn't. I mean, who cares? As far as I'm concerned, I've already taken one channel. It already, blossomed to the point where I was getting quite recognized in person. Quite recognized at some point. Almost every gym, in the gym, because of fitness community, every gym that I went to, I got recognized there. There was a period in my life, a good 2 years, and I was in different gyms at different times. Every time I went to a gym, I was recognized there. Have somebody come up to me, your videos are amazing, take photos and stuff. And I've seen that it's such a temporary rush. I mean, such a temporary rush. So I've seen that. So I've experienced it in that world. So now I really don't give a shit. I don't give a shit how many views it gets. I don't give a shit if this channel gets deleted. I really don't. It's whatever. These videos are just what to be made. It makes things clear for me. I'm doing it for me. Yeah. And then if it does it for you, it does it for you. If it does it for 1 million subscribers, if it does it for 6,000, it's the same rush. I've experienced that before. And so yeah, that one is easy for me, but I know for a lot of you guys it's gonna be choking there. It's gonna be and so you work with it. Everybody's at different levels, and different things will get to you. For some of you guys, maybe you've had such pain in your life and such pleasure, and you've really experienced drugs and sex and to the fullest, right? And food, and you've really experienced some pain to the fullest. You might have been in a really terrible accident. So for you, maybe the pain, the duality, going through that duality may be easy for you. You might be like, yeah, one to me is pain and pleasure, because you sort of experienced all this firsthand, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Like, I know this experientially. I've experienced so much pleasure, so much pain. It all dissipated very quickly. It's all temporary. So for you, that might be the easier duality to sort of go beyond. So the last part would be, one to me is praise and blame, which kind of goes along with the fame and shame. Praise and blame. Oh my God, you're amazing. Oh my God, you're a piece of shit. You know. And maintaining equanimity in that is also pretty liberating. Not being attached to people's accolades and good opinions on you, quote unquote, and not being attached to people's bad, quote unquote, projections of you, because they're just projections. They're just projections. You may think Saeed is the most badass guy ever. That you're just projecting. I mean, I don't know what gave you the impression that this idiot here is badass. One of you guys left a comment saying Saeed is God, and I'm like, what gave you that impression? What? I mean, he's an idiot. I'm an idiot. Blabbering idiot. I'm blabbering idiot, right? But that's your projection. I don't know what gave you that projection. I admire your admiration. I honor it. I respect it. But it's your projection, so I just don't want to take it too far. Saeed, your videos are amazing. You're amazing. You're really onto something. That's your projection. I mean, I don't know what gave you that impression. So I will just simply honor your honor. I will appreciate your appreciation. I like that. Appreciate your appreciation, however it is. But I recognize that that's just your projection of what the situation is. Others, side, you lost it. Ease up with the drugs. Ease up with this. I don't know. I don't know what the hell happened to you. This and that. I've had personal friends tell me that. Oh, Saeed, you're too loud. I get that a lot, right? Met a recent friend here, and we had a chat yesterday, and I told her straight up. I'm like, you think I'm this and that, and but we had like a very honest thing. And I told her, look, that's the way the manifestation of the Tao is. I'm not getting any quieter or any louder. It's just the way it is. I'm not gonna go and be louder because I want to somehow spite you, but I'm not gonna be any quieter. It's just the way it's manifestation. Oh, Said, you're too loud. But again, it's the same thing as somebody saying, Said, you're great, you're amazing, you're amazing. It's the same thing, exact same thing. You know, it is what it is. It's just the way the thing is manifesting, the system, the energy system, the way the Tao is manifesting. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. So it's like, you might project that it's a good, you might think of it as good, you might think of it as bad, but one to me is praise and blame. If you could really embody that, it's very much liberating. For me personally, pain and pleasure is the one I'm gonna have to work with a lot, a lot, a lot. That one gives me the chokes. The other ones is like I say them and it's almost like I could just feel them. They're already been embodied over the years and continue to be as I continue to go through life and continue to hear accolades and continue to hear remarks about things that I'm not supposed to do or be, and it just reminds me. But I think the YouTube helps me tremendously. The fact that I'm a public speaker, the character here is a public speaker, helps me a lot with the fame and shame. It sort of helps me work on that aspect of it because it's constantly there. Same with the praise and blame, and the loss and gain, again, same thing. And this is my work on myself in many ways, YouTubing, public speaking. But the pain and pleasure is something I really have to work on. It really gets me. It really gets me. And whenever I'm chasing a desire, chasing a pleasure, I feel icky because I don't feel free. Making these videos very easy for me because I feel free of your opinion. Plain and simple. I really do. That's why they're quite authentic. That's one thing about these videos. They're very authentic. Very, very authentic. Very raw, very authentic. You get an authentic being here. That's one thing, this being is aware of. Authenticity. Because I really, through many years of working on it and being aware of it and reflecting on it and embodying it and doing mantras in not so many ways in the past, affirmations about it. Like I used to do this affirmation a long time ago. I don't care what others think. And it really helped. I mean, I did it for, it really, I was like, I don't care what any others think if it's positive or negative. So I was actually conscious of it. So, but, there's, the pain and pleasure. That gets me. I found myself averting pain a lot too. And it's like I contract from life, because it's like you want to do something. Maybe you want to go out and do some experience, go into the woods or something. But then that might cause you pain, mosquitoes or something. I find myself closing off life a lot because I'm averting pain, and then chasing because I'm looking for pleasure. So that's really gonna take a lot of work on my part. And then I know I'm sure for all of you guys, there's some work to be done in there. And the process is the process of liberation, folks. So you're liberating yourself from attachment to the polarity, being polarized to any part of the duality, at which point you could be free and experience it. Because what are you gonna do? I'm driving my bike, say I get in an accident. What, and I break something. That's life now. It happened to me. I'm in pain now. What am I gonna do about it? It's pain. Live with it. I have to know how to live with it gracefully. Say I am hanging out and I meet somebody. Next thing you know, we're making love. And it's all displeasure. Should I close off myself from that too? I mean, if it's there, it happened, it's in flow, it's in harmony, I'll experience the pleasure too. But chasing it, now that's problematic. I want to have pleasure. I want to make love. I mean, you try that in your life. You start to chase things. It feels icky, man. It feels weird and icky, and it takes away from the liberation of being open to whatever the moment offers you, whether it's a painful experience or a pleasurable experience. The moment might indeed offer you a pleasurable experience. You might meet somebody, and boom. Next thing you know, you're in each other's labs and you're naked, and it's beautiful. You see? And then you might be riding on your bike one day and fall and break a wrist or something or that, and now life gave you a painful experience. But see, being averting pain, averting pleasure, or chasing pleasure, closes you off from life, and causes you to act in an attached way, causing you this icky feeling of I need something, I'm not whole, I'm not complete, and closing off life. Fear, averting pain equals fear. Chasing something, a pleasurable experience, equals feeling a lack. So I need to do something to make me feel whole, to make me feel good, as opposed to just being open. I'm open. You listen to the harmony of the way, the harmony of the Tao. So you're open to gain, you're open to loss, you're open to pleasure, you're open to pain. You're open to fame, you're open to shame. So if somebody fames you, shames you, if I get famous on YouTube, let it be. If I don't, I don't. And you're also open to praise and blame. You don't take any of it far. Oh, you're praising me, I appreciate it. Oh, you're blaming me. Well, you're blaming me. That's your predicament. That's the way it is. That you're blaming. You just see it as it is. And yeah, it's quite liberating to go beyond. That's why I'm working with this mantra now. It really is quite liberating to be able to live in that free space and then let things happen. Essentially, you're basically becoming a pure instrument for the wave, because you let things happen. You let pleasure happen. You allow pleasurable experience to come in when painful experiences come, and they will come. They will come in one shape or form. Your mother dies. You get in an accident. Something happens or other, a natural disaster. They will happen to you. Okay, you can't avoid pain. A painful experience comes. There it is. It'll go away. You grieve for your mom after a year or so, maybe less, maybe more. It moves on. You move on, right? Um, you get a perspective on it. Maybe you start to communicate with her via dreams. Maybe in a matter of weeks, you're back in the moment, in the here and now. You've gone beyond the grief. It goes away. That's pain. It goes away. Yeah, pleasure. Oh, you met somebody. It's wonderful. You guys are in the honeymoon phase, is what they call, right? And then maybe you move in different parts of life, and that pleasurable experience is not taking place any longer. So let it be. You allow experiences to come in now, without attaching, without clinging. Oh, you get famous, cool. You become you just completely living in a cave and under a rock. Oh, cool. Fame and shame. People say, well, look at that guy, in a cave, living in a cave. What a shameful thing to do, not contributing to society. Or look at that homeless person. I mean, get a job, right? Get a job. Shame, right? Fame, shame. Ah, so what, right? Praise and blame, same thing, same thing. Because if you praise me and I get attached to it, then now I'm gonna spend all my time uh, trying to keep your praise, and I'm gonna manipulate you, and I'm not gonna be truthful in the moment. See? And blame, well, same thing. Saeed, you shouldn't be loud. You should be quiet. Why? Why? The banana tree should just be in the banana tree. Saeed should be in Saeed, whatever it is. Right? So you just the blame comes and it washes off like a wave, just like the praise comes. Oh, you're amazing. Okay, I appreciate your appreciation, but I'm gonna let that go too. You're this and that. You're loud, or you're whatever. Okay, I'm gonna let that go too, because it's all projections, folks. Because everything is perfect. Everything is as is. Everything is perfect. So then anything else, I guess appreciation is seeing the perfection. So when somebody appreciates, I suppose appreciation is actually out of the duality, believe it or not. Because you might think, well, appreciation is the opposite of blame. Appreciation is praise. So praise and blame are the dualities. Appreciation is actually outside of the duality, because you're just like, I appreciate you. This is the way it is. I appreciate it. But praise is within the duality very much. You're the best. You're great. You could say maybe the statement "you're great" is an appreciative statement, right? But I see praise as a quality of. I mean, "you're great" in my books is still praise. I know we're playing semantics and we're playing with words and it's all bullshit. But try to hear me out here. Praise and blame. Appreciation is outside of it, because appreciation is like you're just seeing things and they are, and like, hey, that's, that's that I appreciate this manifestation. I appreciate the way it is. It's sort of outside as opposed to praising, which is still in the duality. So anyway, I know, yeah, that last part didn't make any sense, but make of it whatever sense, interpret it as you will. Good mantra. One to me is pain, pleasure and pain. One to me is loss and gain. One to me is fame and shame. One to me is praise and blame. And again, just to emphasize, you're not closing yourself off to life. You're not denying you're a being that experiences desires and has aversion to pain. That you're a pleasure-seeking being and you're a pain-averting being. You're not denying that you're a social being that likes to be have fame and be appreciated by society. You're not denying any of it. You're simply transcending it by being okay with whatever life experience throws at you, gives you the fame, gives you the shame, gives you the pain, gives you the pleasure. You're with it, just there, sitting with it, being in it, experiencing the pleasure, experiencing the pain, experiencing the fame, experiencing the shame, experiencing the loss, experiencing the gain, experiencing it all, experiencing the praise, experiencing the blame, but not being attached, not clinging on to any of it, letting it go. Okay, so once the pleasure is gone, you've gone past the honeymoon with sweetie, right? You simply gracefully let that go now. It's a new experience. Life is going to give you a new experience now, and every experience is very interesting when you see it like that. So, very much appreciation for all the Patreons for the support. I suppose you guys see some value in this, and you're willing to actually put in money, and I'm very appreciative of that. Uh, Truly, that's an appreciation that I'm offering here. I'm not trying to praise you or stroke your ego, but an appreciation for how it is, for how that there's actually 28 of you guys right now in the family. So that's amazing. Again, the channel is quite small, and that's a big number that are people that are putting their credit card information and everything. So very much appreciate you guys. And if you are somebody who is looking to show appreciation in that way, it helps tremendously. And honestly, I'd love to do this full time, because if I do this full time, I'm happier. And if I'm happier and I can deliver a better message, if, let's say, when I say I'm happier, I'm saying I'm more embodying the joy vibration. And if I'm more embodying the joy vibration, then the message I deliver, it would be purer, therefore more helpful to you. Anyway, if you would like to support one-time donations on PayPal or join the family, links are all in the description. Love you guys, and until next time, may the force be with you.